Hello and welcome back. So this is part 20 of my making of Ashamane cosplay from World of Warcraft. Okay, to start out I wanted to show you that I have the Plastidip done. Just like with all my other painting, I prime with Plastidip before I start painting. So this is the hill piece. I didn't get this recorded on video because I decided to add it last minute. Here, let me show you this. So these will be attached up here, the main part, and then I made this little part here that attaches with a magnet, and I'm using rare earth magnets so I cannot take this off here with one hand. But after I paint, I'm going to add little strips of Velcro here just to help hold that in. Again, with one hand it's not working out too great. I don't care if the top sticks out here, it's just the sides are really sticking out. I don't want that, so that'll be part of the assembly part that I'll be doing at the end of the video. But yeah, so the hill pieces got 3 coats of Plastidip like I normally do. The main part though, I did 4 layers of Plastidip because some of my quicksil wasn't quite smoothed out, so I had an extra layer to help hide that, so you can just barely in the light see a shine here. But I am painting a design in this area a little bit, so I think that'll kind of help hide it. So that'll be fine. So obviously I didn't do Plastidip on camera because it's spray paint. I'm also not going to do my base coat on video because it's spray paint as well. And these are going to be matching the rest of the armor, so like I did for the armor, I'm going to use this spray paint here. It's a hammered metallic brown, so it looks just like this, and it helps warm up my silver paint. So I'm going to do 3 coats of this off camera before we get started with the acrylics. So I'll go ahead and show all my materials real quick. For the acrylics, I use this silver. It's super metallic and super awesome. And I also use a little bit of just cheap paint. I'm using a matte here. I would recommend using a gloss though, but the matte's been working fine. So these are the paints I'll be using, and when I'm all done completely with the painting, I'm going to do about 3 layers of this matte varnish. If you want to keep a super metallic look though, again you want to use a gloss. I wanted to tone down the shine because in the game it's kind of like this awkward, like, it's really metallic, so it has a lot of like, in darker areas rooms it would look darker, sun makes it look lighter, but it also didn't look shiny, so I wanted to tone it down with matte. So it's still a little shinier than in game, but you know, it's also that's in the game. I'm doing the best I can to replicate that. And then once the varnish is totally done, will be when I actually attach these on here. So I'll pop these on here and do Velcro. I'm not actually gluing this one because these just slip one, and I don't want the hill pieces to get bent up. So I'm going to use Velcro to hold those down. And then this part, as of right now, I will be gluing it on, but I have to build up some space in here first because the shoe's only touching like points, like these edges and such, so I wanted to build up some 2mm foam underneath there to give me a surface to glue to. If nothing else, I might actually do magnets for this too, because it would make it super simple, but I don't know yet. We'll see. We'll find out by the end of the video, because at the end of this video, all of this will be done, and these will be finished boot armor pieces, and I'm super excited. If you didn't watch the last video where I actually made these guys, I made boot covers, so these just slip on, and I've got my regular old boots underneath there. So I showed it in the last video how I did the covers and all of that. The only thing I didn't show was, like I said, these guys. I just used a piece of 6mm foam for the main piece. Just cut it out, and then I cut out this out of 2mm foam. Sanded the inside edge a little bit, glued it on there, and then sand around the edges to smooth it up and just kind of line it up a little bit better, and then quick seal to smooth out the edges. So it was super simple. I kind of showed my steps in Instagram a little bit. I believe that's saved to my Insta story highlights Ashamane if you look at that. All that linked below. But yeah, I'm gonna go do 3 layers, 3 coats of this spray paint real quick, so when I come back these will be brown and look like this, and then I'll share the whole entire process from there on. So let's go do that. This is with 3 coats of the spray paint. Apparently I got fuzzy on it already. This inside part won't be seen, so I wasn't worried about that. I get some paint on this, but that won't matter. If I didn't say already, these are the rare earth magnets, so they're like intensely strong. So here's the boot cover for this one. This will sit on there like this. And on the back has the magnet here. So it just snaps on. So these are ready for acrylics. I still need to do the other boot. Over there needs plastic, or not plastic dip, it has plastic dip. It needs spray paint still, so I'm going to do that next. But this is really ready for acrylics. So, the paint job on this will be very similar to the gauntlets. Basically, the gauntlets and the boot armor is not the same, but very similar. They're modeled after the same part of the armor in the game. In the game, the front paws have armor very similar to this. Some things are at different angles. I did drop this part to be touching the claws because in the game there's like a big gap of this, which is plain black, but they just kind of like made shadow. And I wanted it to look neater than that. And then like just to get to sit on the boot right. And then the heel was just something I added in on my own because I felt like it was just way too plain back here. I wanted a little bit of something but not too much. So I added this guy. And then the gauntlets. That was in an earlier video, but I'll grab one real quick. It's the same sort of thing. I am throwing stuff. So, in the game there wasn't any boot or foot armor, just front paw armor. So this is like the front paws. And I wanted to do the same thing for my gauntlets. So these little swirlies is what I came up for the gauntlets. Basically this piece here is just this front area on the boots. I didn't add this area. So yeah, I'm gonna go for silver paint job. In here around the edges we'll get black. We'll get a black swirly with this design on it here. So like that. You can see this was kind of like a modified version, just so it would look with my hands. Then I might do some shading, I'll do plenty of highlight, and all that. And then back here, I'm going to do black around the edges, main part silver, black around the edges, I'll do black kind of back in here. And then, like my leg armor, which I'm working on for the next video, it has these V shapes. I'm going to do one of these, like right in here, but it'll be like a squished in. It won't be so wide, just because of the shape of this, so it'll be a little like V with the swirlies on the ends like this, and black. So, and Matilda just woke up. She likes to fling herself out. Okay, Max, what should I accept? So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and spray paint the other one now, and then when I come back we'll be painting this with the acrylics. Again, I'm using just the silver, this one. I'll have this linked, the Amazon link in the description. And then this black from Walmart, so this won't be linked, but just your cheap paint, acrylic paint from Walmart. Matilda! So itchy. I'll be mixing those and then using them individually, like on their own as well. You'll see that. So here I'm starting with a silver that I have a good bit of black mixed into to give it more of a bright gunmetal silver kind of color. Using a chip brush like for pretty much all of the silver layers. That way I'm pulling up the colors from underneath, so you're seeing that brown, the bronze color underneath this right now. So everything's getting a coat in that first. It does take a little bit of a moment to get into all those grooves between those claws on the main part here. Alright, so that's how it looks so far with the first coat of acrylics. Now I'm going to go in with the silver again with less black in there. I never go to pure silver until I'm getting to the highlights. So I always do my plastic dip as my primer, my brown metallic spray paint as my base, a coat of gunmetal silver, a coat of medium silver, and then I use regular silver for highlight, and then I go in with my black for my little details. You'll see that as I go across. So now I'm working on that second coat of silver that has a little bit of less black in there, so it's a little brighter. Chip brush again, so we're getting all these different layers in there. So that's where we're at now, that second coat of silver. You see, you're still seeing that brown underneath, which is what I was going for. And here, pure silver, I'm going around all the edges, all the points to give it a good highlight. I'm using sort of a dry brush technique. Being the same color, it doesn't show up very well with the dry brushing, so pretty much I very lightly put a little bit of paint around the edge, wipe off my brush, and then I scrub my brush around the edges to blend it in. So every edge on those claws get this too. So there's a lot on this main piece that gets it. Okay, so now I'm using my black, and for the heel piece, I'm starting off by just outlining that edge right along the inside edge there. Since it's pretty much how all the armor has that little bit on it, is on the inside edge of a raised area, it always gets an outline of black. And now I'm doing that swirly V shape I talked about. The leg armor pieces get a couple of these swirly V shapes on them, so I decided I'll use the same little detail there for my heel pieces, since I'm kind of making these up and they don't actually exist in the character. I just did feel like that area was really bare. So first I took a Sharpie, a metallic Sharpie, so it wasn't super noticeable, but noticeable enough to trace on my design. And now I'm going to follow it after I go around the edges with black. So I'm going around the edges of black right now. I give that a second to dry, and then I start going over my detail, little swirly bits, again with black. This was a very difficult task. Like this part took forever. This is sped up so much though, so yeah, I think I spent like 40 minutes just on the swirls. And now the back sides of the heels, since you can kind of see around the edges a bit, I am painting them black just so they blend into the fabric more. And I'm going to end up doing that on the underside of the main piece here as well. Okay, so everything's painted now. I still have to do the spray on varnish. I don't have any gloves right now. I'm out of gloves and I don't want to get this on my hands. So that'll be a task for tomorrow. All the painting's done. It's been like a whole day thing. So I did pretty much freehand these designs, so they're not exactly the same, but I painted the backs black, so they won't be too noticeable. I'm gonna have to go back and touch up a few spots. Turns out, obviously, magnets and both of them, they will magnetize, but they're like magnetizing, so we'll scrape off the paint. Once you get the varnish on though, then it'll be fine. Then these guys, insides are painted somewhat black, outsides are done. So for these guys, so these guys, all they have left is I'm going to put Velcro here, and then on the boot covers too, because these need to be brought in a little bit on the sides so it wraps around the boot's heel a little better. So they get spray varnish, then a little bit of Velcro, then these parts will be ready to go. On these, I'm going to take some 2mm foam and make like this archway that goes down in here, because right now just these edges are touching the boot. So I need to make a flat surface, well not flat, but a surface that will wrap around the boot and touch all the way around so I can actually attach these. So my 2mm foam is white, so I'll probably paint that black too, just to make sure it stays hidden. And then I think I've decided on magnets for this part too. I wasn't originally going to, I was going to glue them on directly, but I think I'm going to glue magnets like I did these guys. Just because the boot covers I made, instead I was going to do zippers, and then I ended up just doing a complete slip-on style, which works on its own, but I'm afraid whenever I get this armor on there, if it's permanently attached, I'm afraid it's going to get in the way of slipping it on. So if I have magnets, these can be detached while I slip the cover on the boot, and then I can pop these on with magnets, like I am doing this already. So that's the plan now. I'll show that. And hopefully it'll be sunny in this next part of the video. It's very late now, so my lights in here aren't so great. Lighting's a bit weird. I guess I can show you this one. That one. Okay, so this is going to go in here roughly like this. And then the back, as I showed before, the magnet's already in there, so they're a little aggressive. So yeah, as I said, these need to be curved in more, which I'll do with Velcro. But that's how these are looking, which is pretty much how it's going to look, other than it'll be on there, right? And it won't be quite as shiny. That matte varnish will tone it down a little bit like it did the bracers and such. It still has shine to it, just not as much. So yeah, and then I've started on like, I very much just what will be the next video. So this is what I have so far. Rough start, but that's how it goes. So that's why there's Velcro up here. I'm just gonna Velcro on the inside of this. And let me get this to stand up. Maybe. This will go on up there, and it will be painted in the same sort of paint job as the boots. The silver, black little details. So yeah, all this right here will be silver, and then just around the edges will be black. And then I'll get those curly V's in black too. And then my leggings attached to the top of those to hold them up. Here's the V's. So these I'll cut out like I did on the bracers, and then sand them down so they're kind of rounded off, and then paint. By Helena. I don't have a very good one. You're very good at the moment, but so that gap will not actually be there. I just don't have it pressed on there all the way. Yeah, so just wraps around like that, which was the kind of design I was going for here. Other than it's kind of squished in a little bit where these are very wide. But I was looking at the character model in the game, and it either had only 2 or 3 V's. At first I was thinking 3, but the more I looked at it, the more I was thinking it might actually be 2. So I ended up going up 2, and I think that, oh my gosh, looks about right. By looking at like the V size compared to the character's leg, that looked about right. Trying to do too many things with only 2 hands. So something like that. Doesn't need to be turned around the right way. Yeah, time to finish these up now. Okay, so now I'm going to put that Velcro pieces on the heel pieces. I'm just using some contact cement. I ended up having some trouble doing this because since the last little clip and this clip, I've been gone for a few days, and apparently I didn't seal my contact cement can very well, and it got real tacky in there. So some of the stuff I am using contact cement, and at some point I kind of give up on it, and I'm using like a tiny bit, but then reinforcing with hot glue. Since I finished these boot armor pieces, though, I did get me a new jar of contact cement, so I'll have it for the leg pieces, which is the next video. So yeah, here I have attached a magnet on the inside. It's glued to the inside of the boot cover, and then I went ahead and stuck another magnet on top of that so I knew they were going to line up right. I put my contact cement on there and on the armor piece, and then I stuck it on there. That way I know it'd be in the right place. So this is what it looks like on there. I ended up adding Velcro as well because I was getting some wobbliness. And as you can see, I reinforced with hot glue. There's the Velcro on the boot piece as well, a boot cover. And there's my boot, so I do have the saran wrap on there still. I need to peel that off now. I had that on there just to protect my boots because these are like my regular formal boots and I don't want to get glue on them. They're like a faux suede. I want to keep them nice. But yeah, you can kind of, in here I need to paint black. I end up doing that off video, but I literally just take black paint and shove it down in there with a paintbrush so you don't see that area anymore. And here I'm trying to show the Velcro again. It's pretty well hidden, but very easy to get to as well, which makes it convenient to put on and off. The magnets are super strong though, so be careful. Yeah, so here, this is pretty much, I just kind of cut a little strip of 2mm foam like that and just shoved it in there basically. And here's the fitting test. So I have to put the boot cover on the boot first since I didn't do Velcro on the back, and then tie my boots and then pull up the boot cover the rest of the way and then snap the armor pieces on. So this is how they look, completely done. I do have the varnish on already at this point. I did that off camera. I did 3 coats of it as usual. But I do love the shine. I really like how these turned out. So thank you so much for watching. We're almost done. Like I said, this is part 20. I think there's going to be 25 episodes or videos or whatever all together, including the daggers. Next is the legs, then the cape, then the daggers. So I'm super excited to be getting Ashamane finished and ready for Matsuri-Con and here in a few weeks. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I'll drop links below to the materials I used in here. If I didn't link a material, it's because it's something like cheap paint that I got from Walmart. And then you can always just comment below if you need a link to that. I'll be happy to find it for you. See you next time.